Hello and welcome, everyone. We are here back with a little bit of a half change of caster. It's going to be Jag coming in for FBI Tugboat. Jag, hello, welcome. I'm ready to see some esports here, my friend.
Yes, so am I. And I gotta ask you, now that you have been on the color side of things, are you happy now to be back in the play-by-play spot?
I'm hoping that all the excitement wasn't, captured in those first two matches. I'd love to get that adrenaline going through me that we saw, especially in the second and third matches here of the afternoon, evening time. St. John's University and University of Connecticut definitely have a big show to put on for us to keep up the pace.
Yeah, this feels like it's got that big game feel, like everything is on the line. It's very early on in the season, but these are two undefeated teams. St. John's, most impressive team from last season. They had such big improvements halfway through the season, and I feel like I talked that point to death, but it was just so incredible where they ended up finishing off. Now they've started off undefeated. University of Connecticut, they've kind of been the most impressive team, I would say, this season from last season. They have completely turned everything around. They seem to be a real contender here, and the question is, how far can they go? This is going to be their real first test, I would say. And with a contender player like Pascal on their side in that flex support role, they have a lot of firepower coming from the backline.
Yeah, a definite team to be reckoned with. We're going to be starting off here, of course, on Lijiang, taking it to Night Market. As we take a quick look at these compositions, it's going to be the Sims, both using those teleporters immediately onto point. St. John's there by just a hair sooner, and with that, kills going back and forth. Both teams losing 1 DPS to start, and Mr. Koala Man's going to start to get revved up here against this Rhine Shield, looking to dig into that D.Va as well. Can't quite stay tuned, though, 2 HP, so dangerously low, eventually cleaned up by Nelsa, and with this, University of Connecticut going to be taking that first capture.
Reset coming in now from St. John's, and here's what you see from this Doomfist composition. But you're just trying to sustain long enough for that punch to come in. That punch is going to be a one shot on most squishies in the game. The other side, I mean, you had the Symmetra and she would be able to rev up on their shields, but that damage takes a while to get going. You saw she got punched out of the way, so great way to avoid the Symmetra on the other side. And now it looks like St. John's, they're going to make some changes. They're going to go for this pharmacy composition. So they're just going to poke out and hope that they can break those turrets and also do some damage from up top.
Yeah, Fiscal going to be teamed up with Slurpee, trying to look for any weaknesses going around all entryways into this building, trying to find something. But with this amplification coming online, Pascal looking to give their team a little bit extra punch. And speaking of punch, not to be too jokey here, but Nelsa going to be coming in swinging big, at least trying to, finding one in Mr. Koala Man. Fiscal able to turn things around with a single kill, but it might not quite be enough. St. John's looking on the back out, still fishing for those early entries with Pharah.
And Fiscal, you gotta be careful. You can't go too low to the ground. You don't want to take this 1v1. That's the Matrix being forced out. They lose Mr. Koala Man, but that actually might be a time to shine now.
Fiscal has the Rocket Barrage ready to go. Gonna be waiting to find it. If they can take out that Baptiste, force down that Immortality Field, it'll be huge. They can't quite connect. Pascal able to use their self-sustain to heal themselves up. D.Va Bomb goes in, doesn't find anything, but gonna be zoning out just a little bit. And so far, University of Connecticut holding as hard as they can, but not letting go quite yet, taking upwards of 85%, it seems, by the time this point finally gets flipped.
Does get flipped. They still have to deal with this Doomfist up. There it goes. Never mind. No worries for the time being. And if you're UCONN, you're okay with that, because where are you right now? You're in one fate territory. You win the next one. There's not enough time for St. John's to really regroup as a full 6. And the D.Va is still demaxed. So if you can take advantage of that, get ITG out when they're still in that pilot D.Va form, you'll be in a great position to win this. And you also have 2 DPS ultimates to boot, but so does St. John's.
Of course, that Proton Barrier might be the game changer here, making it so easy to just split the field in half, play on the sides you want. And that's exactly what Sam's going to be looking to do here, walking that wall. Nelsa going to be looking to just charge their punch up, going straight onto point. Rocket Barrage comes in for Fiscal, not able to find anything. Point flips in the meantime. St. John's might be regretting that, especially if they don't lose this fight. It's just more progress that they could have had in their pocket. And so far, it looks like St. John's are coming out a little bit more clean in this fight. Liam Lizard eventually does go down, courtesy of a punch from Nelsa, but again, if this point flips, it may have only been lost progress for the side of St. John's.
Yeah, it is going to be a fight one, and like you said, they are going to be kicking themselves a little bit for that. The reason they backed up is because of that Symmetra wall. Like you said, the Photon Barrier coming in, splits them back, forces them to back up all the way, and it does also give them a bit of an opening because they're able to use the Amplification Matrix on the outside, which forces St. John's into an awkward position, so the rotation game has been very important early on, which is something that lets me know this game is going to be nothing but just amazing skill going forward.
Jolton Joe has that Earth Shatter, goes for it, but a quick block coming in from your boy. Gonna be excellent there defending their team, as a good Rhine should. ITG gonna be taking down one. Nilsa not quite behind that Rhine shield as they need to be, and I don't want to see a repeat of this, St. John's. If you're gonna die, please die on point. No, they give the progress over to University of Connecticut. Your boy goes in for the Earth Shatter, manages to find one, but gets knocked off because of it. It's gonna be Samo taken down, Fiscal taking two, as a matter of fact, and now St. John's is gonna be able to get the cap, but again, they lost a few precious percentages.
Looks like your boy Wayne's, they were trying to take one for the team, take Jolton Joe off the field, but instead their team had no protection from the barrage. They thought they had won that fight, they didn't. Now UConn, this is their last fight territory as well. They have the Doomfist ultimate to work with. St. John's, they have absolutely nothing going forward. There is a slight advantage for UConn, but they are on the outside looking in currently.
It's gonna be very difficult here. Keep eyes out. That Meteor Strike might make the difference here. The only ultimate aside from a self-destruct that's gonna be on the field. It goes up. What does it find? So close to hunting down that Moira. Gonna be turning attention towards that Hanzo. Mr. Koala Man eventually getting ejected from life. Now as that Immortality field comes online, University of Connecticut gonna take their time to get this flip over time. Now burning down. Doesn't seem like there's gonna be anybody to contest. Liam Lizard even not fast enough.
What an amazing first round. St. John's, it looks like they were going to get 0 to 100 or pretty close to it. End up bringing it back 99-99. Just couldn't win that last fight. Committed a little bit too much in the prior one to hold on to the point. And that Doomfist from Nelsie has just been doing work. You got to find out a way to counter this. I mean, the Hanzo, maybe you can burst them down. The Pharah, same thing. But there's no way to, like, crowd control him. You know, maybe it's something like a Torbjorn where there's a threat at the turret, or the Sombra to hack him out of his punches would be really helpful. And they're going to have to figure out something for this because Nelsie looks like they're going to be staying on this Doomfist for Control Center.
It's no surprise Control Center, one of those very brawly, close range matchups that we're seeing. Of course, the Sim might be getting switched off here. No, it looks like they're going to actually commit. Again, that Sim able to just charge up that damage as those Rhine shields get brought up. And immediately your boy put on the defensive, has to get bailed out by that Immortality field. And UConn now put on the back foot, have to try to back away here. Fiscal just throwing in that damage with concussion mines, with frag grenades. Any way they can get it, they will take it. It's going to eventually be Samo having to be scraped off the windshield of ITG, but St. John's gets first cap shot.
They do. Now the question is, how do they place after they get the cap? Really, the advantage of this comp with the Symmetra and the Junkrat is you have to force them before they get into this hallway. Now, all right, they've already passed through it, so now you just have to back up to the point and try to spam them out with the Junkrat mines. So not the best positioning despite the point cap.
We'll see if St. John's can continue here. Nelsa taken down. Fiscal, as we can see, has a lot more percentage charge on that Junkrat. Not going to be looking to use the tires. They're going to be leaning in a little bit more. It's Trav taken down by a concussion mine. And despite the investment of the Amplification Matrix, nothing being found by UConn.
Yeah, it's just an awkward angle. St. John's can walk straight through it. That's exactly what they do. They either walk through it or take side angles. And that Am Matrix does not end up being much of anything now. They have the positioning they wanted because they have this natural cover that they can use, whether it's the corner or just this Space Rover. And the tires that come in from Fiscal, it's a bit of an early commitment. We'll see what they can find.
They're going to be looking for it, but the question is, will UConn be fooled out by it? Nelsa perhaps having a little bit of the read on it. A couple pills directly into the tire will deal with it quickly enough. The teleporter set up by the Sim means that they can, rather the St. John's can relocate themselves at the drop of a hat, and that's exactly what they're going to do. University of Connecticut now stuck in a very tight server room with very little option of getting out.
You almost have the tire. I think that's what they're waiting on. Now they've been able to TP up, but they're running right into an Ant Matrix.
It's going to be very difficult, although a little bit easier with Liam Lizard taken down. Nelsa continuing to just look out for those tires. Finds one in Koala, and now St. John's committing more ultimates. Samo going to be taken down with the Earth Shatter, but not dropped out of the fight just yet. UConn looking like they're going to commit a few more ultimates to this. As we can see here, just swinging away, know that they will eventually get that point control.
Yeah, but how long can they sell out for? They look like they might. No, they're gonna back up. All right, so just a little bit more, 96%. So this really, really is one fight territory now. UCONN lose this again. This round is gonna be over, and they are gonna go to Gardens. But they have 4 ultimates here, so they do have an advantage in the ult bank. So really, what you got to do on the side of UCONN, just don't use all of them. Use them in a rotation. At most, use 2 per fight. Especially just use the Am Matrix because it will be the fastest that you get back. You use that early on. Maybe you find a good Fire Strike. That's the end of the fight right there if you're able to find 1 or 2 picks.
And so far, Pascal not going to be committing it. Instead, it's your boy Wings throwing in the Earth Shatter. It's going to be the response from the sound barrier now. Trav trying to get advantage here. Slurpee, I believe, got stunned out of that sound barrier, not able to find anything with it. Again, University of Connecticut committing quite a few ultimates into this, although it looks like it's finding them the benefit. For now, it's going to be walls up for both Sims. Colors painted all across this field. However, the numbers continue to rise for Connecticut. St. John's losing manpower.
And UConn there, they use almost everything. They will have another tire online soon, but that's not really what you want there. You do hold the point, but you're now going to be at a disadvantage. Good thing, though, is that St. John's, they used a lot too, and now they're deciding to make swaps. They're going to go for this McCree Hanzo setup instead. I guess they're just going to try to go for shield break and then throw in the self-destruct or try to get a shatter off. They do that, they win this round and this point of the map.
A fair option here if you have the coordination to pull it off. We'll see. Mr. Koala Man located a little bit by themselves, has to be very careful. University of Connecticut, however, looking to get a bit aggressive, going head-to-head. Like a couple of rams. It's going to be Jolton, not able to find anything. Self-destruct going out. Catches 2, both DPS now down for the side of University of Connecticut. Koala Man eventually taken down by the Lucio, and your boy juggled into the corner by the rest of the tanks. It looks like St. John's has the opportunity here. They continue to swing forward. Slurpee on speed boost, not even worried about healing the team. They just want to get aggressive, get on the point, get the flip, and start going into that overtime. It's exactly what they're going to achieve. No overtime! I take it back.
Oh, they saw the setup there. It looks like if somebody was in a touch. They had the Wrecking Ball going in. They had the Baby Diva running in. Someone hopefully would get onto the point. That was going to be a really hard fight to win. That's a fight that doesn't even happen. Now we go to that extra round here on Gardens, and once again, I mean, you and I were talking about this, Sir Walthan, before we went live. I was saying this is a match that I think will go the full distance. I think this has 5 maps written all over it. These teams, 2 of the best that I've seen so far early on in the season, and they're showing it here. The question is now, how do they adapt? Your boy Wings, one of the most aggressive Reinhardts I've ever seen, kind of as a bumper play style, but this time he's going to be playing into Jolton Joe's Winston, so it's not going to be that Brawl v Brawl matchup that we've seen the last 2 rounds.
Instead, it will be the double bubble now coming out from St. John's, a look that we haven't quite seen perfected here on stream yet today. Maybe St. John's can change that tempo up. Trav, just staying in back, looking for those opportunities here to prevent anybody from coming through. Has to be careful, though, does the entire team of Connecticut. They have that Pharah that's continually being that constant threat, and your boy taken down dangerously low, almost thrown off the map, however, has the opportunity, the aptitude, rather, to stay on field. University of Connecticut going to be getting an easy first cap.
Yeah, and you saw that there's so much damage coming in from Fiscal, but just couldn't finish anyone off. A great immortality field from Pascal really mitigates any true worry about someone falling. They aren't able to break it. And your boy Wing is, like you said, very low, very close to the edge, but is able to rotate back. And it seems like UConn, they're totally comfortable playing into this double bubble. They're just going to use their Lucio speed to run over the tanks every time.
I'd be curious to see where Pascal throws down this amplification matrix. Can stem the aggression of St. John's if it's used early, like you mentioned before, prior on command center here, Jack. It's gonna be the Nano going out onto Jolton Joe. Fiscal comboing that with the Rocket Barrage. Not able to find too much. Jolton Joe having to take a step back despite the Nano. Actually gets torn asunder. Nelsa able to take down Slurpee high in the sky. Can't really mitigate that too much. A nice bump on the ITG, gonna be sending them to the water below.
You know, and I gotta be honest with you, Sir Roland, I'm not a fan of double bubble. I don't think it works in this current patch. I think the traditional dive is a lot better. But instead, they're actually just gonna swap the tank comp completely. So now they're gonna mirror with this brawl. But it's, I feel like you gotta really swap this after the first fight. 50% on the point, UConn building up ultimates. St. John's, they're gonna have to win a clean fight, and they're gonna have to go into a sound barrier.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to build up ultimates if you're St. John's, and so far we're seeing them put up somewhat of a fight, but with Liam going down, it's only a matter of time. Your boy Wing's actually getting a little bit too aggressive with that charge. Both Ryan's going to be taken down because of it. However, Trav looking to lead their team with the speed boost, rather. ITG using those boosters a bit too early, allowing themselves to get knocked off.
This might be Lee Jae on tower, but Trav is making a name for themselves. That's now 2 boot kills, 2 very important ones, considering that St. John's were actually equal in that fight. The Lucio there to get that amazing kill off the side, and now UCONN, they have 3, 4 ultimates, almost 5 for this.
Oh, and the Earth Shatter coming in. Liam taken down again early on in this fight, this time to the cliffside. All overtime for this fight, but no members left for the side of St. John's. University of Connecticut looking a lot more dominant this time around on Gardens.
That was the most dominant round we've seen so far. We saw 3, 2 of them went the full distance. This one, 100-0. It was just UCONN all the way from the beginning. I think a big part of that is their composition was executed flawlessly. They knew they wanted to get on point. Then once they got on point, they'd control the bridge area. They'd rotate ultimates from there. And the swaps that came out from St. John's, they were good, but they just relied on that pharmacy tracer for a little bit too long. They tried to make the double bubble work, and as we've seen a few times now today, it just is not the play.
Yeah, so far does not seem to find the purchase power that they really need. But Jag, looking ahead, these games have been in most of the instances outside of Gardens pretty razor thin. How do these teams, or let's say, how does St. John's kind of overwhelm the University of Connecticut based off of what we've seen?
Well, I think either you continue to mirror, because it seems like they really want to stay, UConn really wants to stay on the brawl, and it seems like the Rhine composition is what they feel most comfortable with. And you went out, which you know you can. You made a few like different swaps. Instead of running the same DPS, you tried the McCree Hanzo, and you know that has worked here and there. Or the alternative is you force them to play a comp you're more comfortable on. So whether it's the Wrecking Ball or Dive, if you're able to force them into a composition that maybe they're not as comfortable on, then you'll have the advantage. But it's going to be very hard to switch them off this brawl. They know it's working. They know it helped them take that first map, and going into the next map, Kings Row, I think it's going to be all brawl all the time.
Yeah, I think you'd have a hard time convincing anybody to take a dive matchup with you on Kings Row. It's just not the look that we've seen historically from Kings Row. That first entry point, the perfect size for a Rhine shield. So absolutely have to agree with you. And you mentioned it, Kings Row, our next map. Very excited to see what these teams have to offer.
I haven't seen Kings Row in a while. I think it's generally the Overwatch fan base's favorite map, so it's always a fun time to see. And we've already seen that these two teams, they can go blow for blow of each other, very close on those 2 rounds of Lijiang, as we've already talked about. So now the question is, can St. John's pull ahead? I feel like the biggest playmaker they have currently is ITG, just to make some incredible plays with those self-destructs. Like, those 2 kills on Control Center, just like that changed the entire course of that round. So plays like that will be needed, I think, for them to get ahead here on our next map.
Yeah, I used the phrase razor thin before, but a game of inches also aptly describes Overwatch at times like this, where just one mistake, or more accurately in this case, one really good play can define these teams. We are, however, ready to hop in here. And worth noting, folks, the sides have swapped. University of Connecticut now going to be on your left-hand side, as you can see by our graphic up at the top. St. John's going to be on the attacking on the right in red.
And as a reminder, the winning team does get to decide which side they want to be on, switch sides, swap sides. So this is UConn, I think, making a statement. They want to defend first, they want to get an early hold, and then they want to win this map quickly. So we'll see if they can get that done. It's essentially a similar comp to what we've seen before, but they are going to run the more traditional Mei McCree. So your plan here, try to get a wall, try to send whoever is behind that wall, whether it is the flashbang or just the freeze from Mei, and then kill them. And then once you isolate that one target, get them down, that's the end of that fight. So we'll see if they can execute it well. St. John's, maybe running this Hanzo, don't want to commit to the Mei, so they're looking more for shield break.
We'll see if they can find it. Sonar going to be sent out, not quite connecting in any way that reveals anything significant. However, they will still have those lines of sight. And just like that, St. John's going to be taking an aggressive fight onto your boy Wings. And your boy Wings already reeling. The immortality field forced out from both sides, immediately torn down. ITG dangerously low, and now it's going to be University of Connecticut who have to kind of kick it into reverse a little bit here, play a little bit more carefully. But if you're on the side of St. John's, you're going to be content with that. You bought yourself a little bit more space. That's a brutal Mei wall coming through, though. Your boy Wings going to be caught almost on the poor side of it, gets torn asunder. Now with both Rhines down, the defense, Baptiste gone. It's going to be looking rough for UConn to continue to hold here. It's going to be that McCree and the Lucio, the Cowboy and the Lucio stuck up in that hallway. Oh.
Yeah, I think Nelson's gonna go for a high noon here, but is gonna get taken out before they even can. This point is gonna go the way to St. John's, and I was gonna say, right now, St. John's, they were looking for a bad wall. They were looking for a May wall that really just would enable them, and the one that came out, unfortunately, was a bit awkward. It didn't really delay anyone from getting over. It didn't get anyone disconnected from the rest of the team, so from there, they're able to roll on through, and that Matrix from Pascal wasn't enough. First point captured. They're going to keep rolling, but ITG is not in mech.
Yeah, a moment of weakness here from St. John's. They will be remixed rather quickly. The high noon actually taking down Samo. A good opening here from St. John's. Earthshatter comes in, lands big. However, your boy Wing's going to keep swinging ahead. That Diva going to get demeched. If they're wise, they won't kill her. ITG eventually does fall to Nelsa, though. Doesn't have that trigger discipline. I don't blame him.
I mean, this stall, I feel like, probably wouldn't be too bad at this point because you're close enough to spawn, you can probably run back, so might as well try to get that ult back up. So they get a little bit of a stagger. It's enough for St. John's to now regroup, have a shatter as well as the Dragon Strike. So my guess, yep, the Dragon Strike gonna come out first, and then they can isolate this Rhino. It works out beautifully.
But it's that immortality field that's able to save your boy Wings at least for a moment. But the Earthshatter comes in big from Jolton Joe, and just like that, St. John's able to lean in, swing away on that May as soon as the ice form breaks, and they're gonna have to really rush Connecticut if they want another contest.
And this is something that I talked about earlier on Lijiang. This has really been a matchup of pathing. You see now, they're just so intent on ruining each other's pathing, both teams, whether it's the Maywall or the Dragons trying to isolate someone, trying to stop those rotations from coming through. And when they work, it's worked out for the team. They win that fight.
Yeah, fortunate Reinhardt shield gonna be blocking a lot of that damage from the Diva bump. A nice eat coming in from ITG. Samo not gonna be able to use that Blizzard. Your boy Wings, however, gonna find a little bit more luck with their Earthshatter, taking down a large chunk of St. John's, who now have to back up, try to regroup, and find some benefit there. Samo, unfortunate, but still able to recover with their team.
These shatters have just been insane from your boy Wings. He plays so aggressively, and I would say 9 times out of 10, it gets the job done. That one time, maybe you're a little bit too far out for your team to help you, but there, it just seems like the timing catches Jolton Joe off guard every single time. There, they thought they had it in the back. They also had the Deadeye actually procced. It was queued out, but even with that, they run in with the shatter and they win that fight.
Amplification Matrix to try to help now University of Connecticut maintain this map dominance. Once again, self-destruct going high, takes down 2. Excellent placement by ITG. You talk about that off-tank being so crucial for St. John's, and right now they're proving it. Make a 3rd kill added. Another notch in their weapon as they continue to now chase down those who remain on the point. Maywall tries to come out, only sections off just about nobody. It's going to be Samo trying to hold out. No cryo form to keep them alive, though.
Maywall only caught Mr. Qualaman, and what can Mr. Qualaman do in Hanzo? Just climb up, because that's their passive, so that is it. We just heard from a producer they also had to climb it to get over that wall, so, you know, at least it caught someone, but St. John's looking pretty dang good. 3 minutes in the time bank, but so many teams get stalled out here. Things gonna come down to Sam on making sure this Blizzard doesn't get eaten again.
It's going to come down to a matter of time bank, and if not time bank, then a matter of distance. Jolton Joe might be looking for their opening here, waiting for that Earthshatter, not going to be committing it. In fact, it's going to be the Blizzard, causing everybody from St. John's to scatter. Liam Lizard throwing out that immortality, trying to save, but it looks like St. John's has to be on the back foot.
Yeah, they do. The Blizzard gets out, but it doesn't get as much as they want overall. I'd say you win the fight, but you only get 1 elimination, so you can't really build up the rest of your ultimates. And now, as I say that, looking at it, they already have 4 online, so maybe that's not as important. This is exactly where UCONN can make their stand, because they have so much to work with here, and this corner is great for natural cover.
And blocked Earthshatter, I say blocked, mostly blocked. It's going to be Pascal gets taken for a little bit of a dip into the underdepths of King's Row, as UCONN now looking to lean in, try to get some more kills, some more ultimate charge up on their chalk, but gonna be successful in that, finding a little bit.
Will they lose their Rhine, though? That's huge. I was gonna say, like, Pascal had a huge play getting that Matrix off before they were booped off the map, but your boy Wings, a little bit too close to the sun there. Now we'll see if Icarus can get back in time, but instead, St. John's, I think they also had an elimination that forces them to wait as well, so that advantage that they had, it's gonna be basically mitigated, and now everyone's back to 6.
High Noon coming through here, but the Shield and Diva Matrix a little bit too strong. Tanks from Connecticut managed to hold firm from the Cowboy. A pin onto Jolt and Joe means they can't keep the Shield up. Your boy Wings knows exactly how to play with these ults with their team. St. John's now starting to crumble a little bit, only 2 minutes left.
I feel like a caster curse to Mr. Wall thing, because I was saying, this is where defenses really are able to stand tall. And so far they have done it. The one thing I will say, St. John's, now their economy for ultimates is going to be bigger. And ICG is looking very close to getting another self-destruct. We've seen how impactful those have been for their team thus far.
And it's going to be the Dragons trying to split the field. Blizzard comes out trying to lock down anybody that they can for St. John's. Any elimination means that these fights go just a little bit longer and in the favor of Connecticut.
It looks like the Blizzard, the way they're being used, it's just so impactful because they're basically running in. It's chaos. No one knows where anyone is. St. John's, IPG, they're looking all around to try to eat it. And in the middle of that chaos, they throw it in. They're able to clean up the fight, and they're still holding on to this corner.
St. John's still has a handful of ultimates. However, it's going to be Amplification Matrix met with Amplification Matrix. But Samo able to take down the first. These fights going crazy here. It's going to be the Diva. It's his guy. Hold up right in front of that Amplification Matrix. Not able to find too much. Samo taken down, but it looks like St. John's not willing to lean into this too aggressively. UCONN taking a back. Has to break line of sight from that High Noon from the Cowboy. Now St. John's can lean in with their tank ultimates left on the field.
Yeah, the bomb shatter combination, are we going to see it? The bomb is not going to get anyone, and the shatter isn't available because the shield is up, so that is not going to get what they wanted.
Oh, and a rough kill coming in from Nelsa. Earth Shatter tries to come in. Jolt and Joe not able to connect onto too much, though. Your boy Wings just having a handle like a pot lid on these ultimates, reading the side of St. John's and not letting anybody pass.
Slurpee not able to touch. A great hold on that last point after it seemed like St. John's would be able to get all three. They had a good time bank, they had momentum, and that corner of doom always slows down the attackers. Gauntlet has been thrown now. UCONN, they know what they have to do. Get it basically to the end, not all the way to the end, right before the circle. And I think there, that High Noon that came out was so detrimental. It really just, you can see the panic from St. John's because the self-destruct didn't work, the Shatter didn't work, and then they lose their Lucio. So you can see it kind of just crumble in front of their eyes.
Yeah, too many ways to break line of sight for that self-destruct to truly be effective. But again, I got to give a lot of credit here to Wings. I mean, you talked about it. I feel like that's something I'm going to keep mentioning, just the amount of shatters, the amount of crucial Diva bombs that they're able to mitigate the damage of. It's going to be so impactful as we move forward.
I mean, it's literally just Bumper reincarnated. Like, I'm surprised we haven't seen them try to go behind and go for a cheeky shatter or cheeky charge yet, but they're not afraid to just, go in and take that 1v1 against the Rhine and hope their team backs them up. They don't have to hope, because they know that this UCONN squad is going to be there for their main tank. They know that no matter how far they charge, Pascal probably has the range to throw that Immortality field. So there really isn't as much risk when you're playing with a supporting cast as good as this one at UCONN.
Yeah, I mean, you say it's Bumper reincarnated. When do we see the Hanzo come out? It begins the question for me. Only a few seconds, however, until these gates drop. The rollouts coming through. Once again, UCONN going to be using this May, this time on the offense, maybe trying to isolate somebody on the defensive side. It's a quick rotation through Hotel, trying to see what they can find. Nelsa, even before the wall goes up, taking down Mr. Koala Man, that long-range threat no longer a factor for St. John's. Your boy Wings going to be swatting people away from point like they just have a giant fan instead of a hammer, and nobody from St. John's really seems brave enough to approach this point. They're giving up 2 ticks almost for free. Jolt and Joe just taking an abuse of damage as soon as they drop their shield. Your boy Wing's going to be firing through that Amplification Matrix, not finding too much with it, but again, just the amount of convincing to be away from the point. The fight didn't even end, and UCONN capped the first.
Did the fight really even start is my question. It was just, they rotated around. Like you said, the wall, it wasn't what led to that pick. It was just Nelsa finding a great off angle and getting the first elimination from there. St. John's, they just didn't engage. They just waited. I think they were waiting for someone to come back, but the way that UCONN rotated, they were able to take the point, so it was actually defender spawn that they were closer to. You don't really want to run into that. Even as one person trying to go for that flank, it's not worth it. So again, game of rotations, game of off angles, game of cutting off line of sight. These two teams have been engaging in it all night, and right now UCONN, they are getting the better of it.
UConn looking to buy quite a bit of space. Pascal going to be using that Fisco, excuse me, going to be using that high noon, trying to navigate their way forward. UConn going to be leaning in, goes for the flashbang above the shield, not able to get anything. Nelsa, however, going to be getting the first kill, traded out. Now, with this, the Blizzard going to be really opening things up here. Samo going to be leaning in with these icicles. That Reinhardt separated, though. That is a rough spot to be in if you're Jolton Joe.
Rough spot to be in for the whole team as they end up falling. They try to use the Imp Matrix, but again, UConn just runs through. We've seen this a few times now. You got to be really careful about the angles you put it at. If it's too far forward and the Rhine is there, they will just push on in, and so will the rest of the team. With that second point cap coming in, UConn having so much time, almost all the time in the world, and they still have 4 ultimates ready to go here. They could just snowball the rest of this map.
They certainly could, and it's definitely a huge threat onto St. John's. We're going to be seeing the Dragons come out. UConn having to take a few steps back, otherwise take a lot of damage. Sound barrier as well to help drive their point forward, and their team is going to be slowly taken down, meaning no reposition, no healing available from that Lucio, and just like that, University of Connecticut going to be leaning in. They're not letting this card get contested at all during third.
Oh, and I mean, right now you're seeing that UConn, they're playing so far up that there actually probably will be a chance to recontest. But that self-destruct from Tiz, guys, you know it's ready to go. It's ready to stop any sort of engagement.
It's going to be the May wall coming up, the D.Va self-destruct coming online from St. John's. Not able to achieve too much, but now it's Tiz guy's turn. The same result, very little, but the added prize of the remech getting the Lucio and the D.Va mech themselves. But it's going to be all it for UConn. They're going to be taking their second victory here on Kings Row.
This was so impressive from UConn. I mean, I gotta say their defense, you know, it was back and forth. St. John's had a good momentum for a while, but this attack was so devastatingly one-sided. I mean, look at this. Just beautiful work from Pascal, who isn't surprisingly getting play of the game, knowing their aim, able to be a support as well as a DPS in that scenario. And I think there, St. John's just misplayed it a little bit there on that corner. They had to hold out as long as possible. Instead, they got pushed back. That self-destruct from ITG came out kind of in a rush. You see, again, the panic. We saw it a little bit earlier on their attack when they were running out of time. Here's the same thing. In those scenarios, we've got to be the calmest. You could see that they were just a little bit scatterbrained, and there cost a potential hold and the second map.
A little bit scatterbrained, but hopefully a moment to regain themselves, gain some composure, take a few breaths while we do have a brief break here. However, folks, we will be back with Anubis in just a moment, so make sure you stick around. St. John's versus Connecticut. Hello, folks. We are back, and hope you brought your cool drinks because we're taking it to the hot Temple of Anubis and St. John's versus University of Connecticut. Connecticut up 2-0. St. John's is a little bit of climbing to do, Jag.
Yeah, they do. It is a pretty tall task. We have seen that they are able to, fight the good fight. They are able to win out time to time, but it's not able to put all the pieces together here. 2-0, and we're going to finally see UCONN. They are going to bust out the Winston for the first time tonight. A bit of an interesting comp with the Genji Soldier 76. Not something you see every day. St. John's, meanwhile, they are going to go for the Wrecking Ball comp. One thing I note, though, is that it's actually ITG who's playing the main tank in this position.
Oh, and ITG is going to be the one who's also taking a little bit of a nasty sleep dart there. Manages to get away, but it comes at the cost of Mr. Koala Man, and now UCONN going to be getting a bit aggressive. That's a luxury they have with this slightly faster comp.
Oh, and Liam Lizard taken out. That's going to be a stagger, so another 10 or so seconds off the clock. It looks like they're going to get this double bubble another go. I actually do like this call over what they had previously. I think this could work if they're able to take a good rotation or just try to clean out this high ground originally, but you gotta check out your boy Wings in the corner.
Yeah, that Winston can just really divert a lot of the attention, and St. John's again just letting them have it. And I mean, University of Connecticut going to be landing a nice anti-nade that forces St. John's back. It's going to be your boy Wings taken down, but St. John's doesn't seem too anxious to get on it.
You don't have the same protection as a Winston that you do as a Reinhardt. That shield doesn't last nearly as long, and now they can go in with this double comp.
They are going to be doing exactly that, Jolt and Joe, waiting for that opportunity to jump in, and they need to hurry up, otherwise it's going to be your boy Wings coming back in onto the fight, already onto the fight as we see them jumping up there. And right now the attackers basically spent a whole push just trying to get this high ground position.
Yeah, it usually doesn't take this long if you're in the Winston, but now there's going to be a Nano Winston in their face.
And your boy Wings now going to have that Primal as well to deal a lot more mayhem across the board. But your boy Wings still has to be careful there. Not a whole lot of damage can be done with that Primal, and can feed over a lot of ult charge. Not going to be suffering that this time around. UCONN able to get a few more kills. Jolt and Joe able to take down one in their favor, and that means that they might be able to get back before the respawns once again.
And the grab does not connect, but they are up in numbers. They still have the rally. It's still active. They have a nano if they want it, but they don't even need it. I think this is going to be the point cap for St. John's.
It looks like it. Your boy Wing's going to be switching on to that Wrecking Ball. Might come in for a last-minute touch. And no, it's going to be the swap.
I mean, what more could you ask for your St. John's? It does take you quite a while to actually get into the position you want, and that fight actually looks pretty losable when you lose Liam Lizard early on, but the rally from Slayer be able to sustain them. They do use the Pulse Bomb as well as the Graviton Surge, but UCONN uses quite a bit there too, and I think the biggest thing to know is that UCONN, they do not have the Nano Blade online. They do have the Blade, but there's nothing really to pocket it unless they try to pop this rally just so that Genji has extra protection.
And if you are the Genji Nelson, you're going to have to be careful about the flashbang. You're going to have to be careful about that shield bash. But right now, UCONN is going for a little bit of poke, and immediately Nelson gets one kill. Mr. Koala Man taking that big threat, but still gets hit by the anti-nade. And now, as we look here, Jolt and Joe getting the nano boost, going to be trying to lean in, get a lot of that cleave damage done with the Winston Tesla Cannon. Takes down both supports. No healing available for UCONN until they can get the supports back in from spawn. St. John's needs to start putting some pressure onto point. Self-destruct takes down ITG, not able to play those walls carefully enough. Now we see your boy Wings trying to play, hold out that point, prevent the progress from being built up. High Noon coming out from Koala Man, has to not look at that. Genji doesn't want to take a deflected High Noon bullet into the face. But St. John's, despite what was looking like an awesome potential, just peters out at the very end.
They never get onto the point until it's too late there. They do trade, and the spawn advantage will be in favor of UCONN, so UCONN can easily get back into that fight. But I think the biggest thing is ITG thought they were around in the corner, thought they got out of the way of the self-destruct. That self-destruct, it is cheeky. If there's any hole, it will kill you through it. There you saw there's a little bit of line of sight of where it went off. They had the self-bubble, but didn't use it because they thought they got away. And once you lose that tank, it's really game over, because that grab, if it had been online, would have been what closed this out.
ITG has that grab online. Maybe they use it to lock everybody down, especially with your boy Wings going down early on. No Winston bubble to keep everybody alive. If Fiscal able to combo maybe a mini bomb attack through with that grab, but no, ITG getting torn to bits almost instantly. It's going to be the Nano coming in onto Jolton Joe's Winston. Nelsa able to get another blade up, this time with the Nano, taking down 2. That's going to be enough to turn the fight in favor of UCONN.
It is, and again, this was a good setup from St. John's, but the way they finish it off just does not work out. Grab is committed, but I thought they were going to try to combo with the Pulse Bomb. That'd be great if they're able to get a few people in it. Even if it doesn't get kills, they'll be super weak, so you can just finish it up with the Nano Winston. But instead, just kind of all falls apart, and they do cancel out the visor, but the Nano Blade is enough to clean up for UCONN.
Going to be enough indeed, as now we look ahead towards this next fight. Eventually, we look towards this next fight already underway, and University of Connecticut running a rough shot on this defense, continuing to just put the hurt down onto St. John's, and a late sleep onto the brig. Slurpy's going to suffer for that one.
Yeah, that's going to be a staggering. Who is the first person who falls in that fight again? It's ITG, and I have nothing but praise for ITG. I think they're an amazing off-tank, but the way they're playing Zarya, it feels like they're trying to play similarly to D.Va. They're running in, they're playing very much like a frontline character, and in a double bubble, you are actually protecting your support line. You're saving those bubbles either for your Winston or for your supports. You gotta stay behind. You gotta kind of wait for the team fight to happen instead of just running in. But there is a lot of ultimates on their side that can help them get over the finish line here.
We'll see if they're able to use them to supreme effect. ITG once again leading by the chin. A dangerous maneuver now as your boy Wing's going to be dropping that bubble, cutting off the support line from the rest of St. John's. And because of that, Jolton Joe might suffer to stay alive a little bit here, and in fact going to be put into the grave. And your boy Wing's not quite done, going in for a little bit more damage, just trying to build up that primal rage, as now St. John's on the back foot.
You know, they have to be forced out, and this is an alt apocalypse. I'm going to borrow that line from Septilins. This is 6v6 ultimates right now. This is crazy. I have not seen this in a very long time. How do you even use these? I'm not sure the order you want to do it, because this is last fight. There's no time for St. John's to re-engage if they lose right here.
If you're ITG, you have to try to catch Nelsa in this grab. They achieve exactly that. Samo's the only one taken down. A nice anti-nade coming in. That means University of Connecticut's going to be down a few more ultimates. We'll see if Jolton Joe's going to be using this primal to buy themselves a little bit more space. And anti-nade means they can't get healed up, meaning that they have to just use that increased health pool. Samo going to be coming out, taking down Jolton Joe with that tack visor. The Tracer now trying to avoid that line of sight. Samo going to have that tack visor worn off, only achieving 1. Koala Man playing from behind, trying to get the damage here. Can't quite connect, doesn't want to commit it, instead just backs off, allows it to expire. Has to drop down play with their Ana, but eventually those two are cleaned up. Overtime now going to be ticking down. Nobody left to contest it. In fact, it's going to be that Wrecking Ball. I spoke too early here, folks. Jolton Joe going for the pile driver, but eventually burned down. That's going to be the overtime done. No progress made on second.
And that's the real kicker there. No progress whatsoever. You had 2 or 3 fights that looked like they were turnable, that you could have won. You could have taken over the whole point, or at least gotten 1/3. But there, nothing is there. So if UConn is able to capture that first point, St. John's at best they'll be playing for a draw. At worst, it's going to be the end of a series. Just never the position you want to be in. So this first point defense is going to have to be their bread and butter here. I think they're just the double bubble. It did have its moments. I think there were some real big missed opportunities there about how they could have combined ultimates and played them. It looks like Fiscal on the Tracer, very skilled. The Pulse one is always looking for a squishy target instead of trying to combo it with something else. I think that could have really been what opened up that point for them.
Yeah, again, I have to give them credit. I said that Nelsa having that Dragon Blade, especially that Nanoed Blade, is something that ITG is going to have to look to catch. They attempted to do that. They weren't able to put the focus down. The anti-nade was there, just not enough.
Yeah, and you saw what happened there. The grab, I mean, you lose 1 before the grab goes off. So that's like, oopsie daisy there. You lose your McCree right off the bat. And you do trade the soldier with the pulse spawn, but the soldier can run back faster and the spawn is closer. So it's not a big of a deal. There was the Winston. Your boy Wings is caught in that too, and that's why that Genji didn't fall. There was the Winston shield around them, and they could not break it quick enough to get the kill. So I don't know if your boy Wings was there on purpose or if it just happened, you know, it's just happenstance and it's just really lucky. Regardless, great team play there to protect your Genji. Now Nelsa has a chance to help put this game away for UConn.
We'll see if that is achieved here. Mr. Koala Man now going to be taking what I'm going to dub maybe the your boy Wings spot of hiding up on these boxes. Immediately going to put some pressure up onto those supports. Gets pressured out, has to back away towards the actual point itself. Fiscal Taking an anti-nade means they have to back off the tanks, providing a little bit of healing, but with your boy Wings going down early on, that is a great start for St. John's. Nelsa burning down, only a couple HP left in the tank, almost chased down by the Winston, not going to be got though.
It's out, and on the other side, Mr. Coleman was traded out, so this is going to be the go button now. They can just run in because their Winston will be back any second. This is really good for UCONN right now.
It really is, and St. John's looks like they're just trying to cope with it. Tizguy going to be holding that Matrix, trying to prevent the Zarya from getting healed. Eventually, it's going to be the Ana falling from St. John's, so it's a moot point either way. And with this, now UCONN looking like they're secure in this first.
It commit the Nano there, so their biggest engagement ultimate that they would have is going to be gone. St. John's, they have their own ready to go, but this is still looking pretty good for UCONN. If they're able to build up their Visor and their Self-Destruct, that might be the only ultimates they need to get it done, but Mr. Qualman going to be going for this Torbjorn. I think this is actually a really great pick. Very anti-dive. The turret will just punish anyone who tries to go in. That Torbjorn turret could end up being the carry for St. John's.
As well, if Torbjorn decides to be the target, that is Dove. Ends up receiving a lot of armor from his overload ability. Nelsa just harassing this Winston right now. Jolton Joe perhaps a bit too far forward. Eventually has to drop down to the positive side of that wall. It's going to be Tac Visor coming in from Samo, trying to find something, anything. It's not, but instead it's going to be your boy Wings just wailing away. Enough presence has been cleared off the point. UCONN is going to be taking this in their third map.
You know, I don't know how that fight would have turned out, but, you know, the point presence, again, we saw this a little bit on King's Row, just wasn't there. I think St. John's just weren't expecting UCONN to be as good as they are. I think St. John's is still a really good team, but I think this is a really good loss for them. I think this is going to show them how to go back to the drawing board and rethink their compositions, maybe take the double bubble offline and focus on more of a traditional brawl comp instead. And UCONN, I mean, they got to be feeling pretty dang good about themselves right now. That's 3 victories in a row. I casted them last week, and they had a very, very dominant victory over William and Mary. This one, a little bit less dominant, but over one of the best teams in the league. I mean, I got to say, I think they're a front runner early on in the season.
Oh yeah, they're definitely looking very good. A 3-0 scoreline definitely doesn't hurt either, but we will be getting a listen from one of the members of UCONN coming in here in the interview booth, hopefully after this break. So stick around, folks. We'll be right back. Hello, folks. We are back, and we are here with Trav. Trav, hello, welcome, and congratulations on your victory here today.
Thank you very much.
Now, I want to ask you about you and your team's pre-game ritual. When you're going into this mindset, or when you were going into this game, what was your mindset like?
That we're gonna win, pretty much.
Oh, all right, we like that positivity, but I like that.
That's it.
Simple, but it gets the job done. I want to ask you a little bit about your support duos. You're playing with Pascal now.
Yeah.
What is that like? What's that dynamic like? And who is the one calling the shots when it comes to IGLing and stuff like that?
Well, he definitely IGLs a lot. Because obviously he has the experience, so it's definitely really helpful to have him. And he's pretty chill too, so like I feel like we're gonna be pretty good friends on the team. So
Good friends, better teammates potentially, or better friends. Who knows?
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
one last question for me. I want to talk about Lijiang Gardens. You had some really great boot plays there. So, are you usually looking for them, or is it more like something that just kind of you find yourself in a position to go for those plays?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just saw they had a Zarya there. She was playing bridge, so it kind of made sense. Just go for it.
All right, I mean, when you got the feeling, sometimes you just have to go for it. I can respect that, Trav. Thank you for hopping in here, answering a few of our questions. Don't have too many more for you, but do you want to give the opportunity for any shout-outs you feel anybody might deserve?
Gonna shout out Atlas. He's pretty cool. Gives us a lot of motivation on the team, so
All right.
pretty good man.
Well, there you go. Once again, Trav, thank you for coming in here. And in case you haven't heard it enough from me, congratulations.
Thank you.
And with that, Jag, we are just about ready to wrap up St. John's versus UCONN. However, we are not done, folks. We have much more Overwatch action coming at you over the break. So stick around. We'll be right back.